One puff, let's go. Need a shave, looking kind of rough. It's all good, I'll make it happen. I got a little special one for y'all today. I'm going to cut right to the chase. I got the top 10 horror icons in movie history of all time. Like I say, ZZ the King, like and subscribe. I'm not going to get into movies and synopsis. I might bring them up. And since that's the case, spoilers for these potential movies I might bring up if I get in depth with any of the people on this list. Now, before I kick off this top 10 horror icons, it's your basic run-of-the-mill horror icons from scary movies all across every genre. You gonna know pretty much every one of these because in my top 10 horror franchises, most of these people are on this list. So without further ado, I'm gonna get to my honorable mentions. One more puff. Let's go. I got something special coming up with this particular clan right here in the honorable mentions. And that's Captain Spaulding and the Fireflies from the Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpse franchise. You know what I'm saying? Rob Zombie, a crazy-minded, you know what I'm saying, rock and roll, gothic kind of creator. A lot of his content, you got to be for the shit if you watch it, because it's going to be despicable. The people who you supposed to be rooting for are the most heinous people of all time, but he make that shit work in a way where you like him. And I don't know how he do it, but he do it. So I had to put them on the honorable mention list, but they not nearly iconic to crack this top 10. I got some sci-fi legends in here too who didn't crack the top 10, but these movies were scary as a scary movie and iconic. And that's your boy Jaws from the Jaws franchise. The shark, yeah. And then I got Alien from the Xenomorph from the Aliens franchise. Another classic, iconic franchise. Some of the movies get off kilter in the future just by trying to make money like Star Wars do, but still, it's iconic, legendary. I know the person who made the Creeper, people don't like to talk about it because of his legal situation with the molestation or whatever case he had. I'm sorry about all that, but I did like the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers. I know the creator of it is an asshole son of a bitch who did his time though, but he still should be in jail. But the creation he created was worthy of an honorable mention. And not to mention, I like Jeepers Creepers, all three of them movies. I think it's 4 however many or a remake, but I like all them movies too. Just not top 10 material. And then last but not least is the classic horror monsters that started the horror genre. I'm talking about the Wolfmans, I'm talking about the Draculas, Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein, The Mummy, Invisible Man. These are black and white era movies. I watched all of them once, but I'm so in my modern era 80s slasher, 90s 2000 mode. These are all horror watches for me. Even if I try to put myself how a person would have felt in 1940 and when these movies was made, they still horror watches. It's not for me. These movies my mom watched when she was a kid, so obviously. But without further ado, we ranking them. And then when I say worst to first, I don't mean that derogatory at all, because ain't no worse on this list. These people made the top 10 horror icons for a reason. It's just, this my personal preference. Some of these people might not even be in your top 10, or they obviously comment, let me know your list of how you would do it, how you would reorder it, or what your list would be. But mine's coming in at number 10 also wasn't part of my generation. This is Norman Bates from the Psycho franchise. Now, unlike I said the classic horror movies, when I watch this, I could easily put myself into that mind state. It's just like going into the Leatherface franchise. That's in the 70s. But Norman Bates, Anthony Perkins is the actor who portrayed Norman Bates. That's what I'm going to do with the bleep list. I'm going to bring up the actors, the real actors who play these roles, just to give them some flowers. Because these are iconic, legendary performances, and you can't just say Norman Bates. If I say Norman Bates, you just obviously know Psycho. You still going to know Anthony Perkins, but still, you're going to think of that more than anything. And this movie is great. The twist, I mean, he inspired a genre, Alfred Hitchcock. Moving on. We got Doug Bradley as the one and only Pinhead from the Hellraiser franchise. And this the first time I done ever mentioned Hellraiser in any kind of capacity of a countdown. I gave him a shout out as an honorable mention of a franchise that I only liked the first movie on my top 10 horror countdown. I didn't like 2, 3, 4, 5, or however many they got, and I never even kept up with the franchise. Unlike Jason, the franchise I'm not fond of greatly, but I watch every movie and know a lot of them. Pinhead ain't the same. Where I like his look, it's iconic, it's scary, but I couldn't rank him no higher because I got no factual data that I can physically, I can Google the information, but it's not stuff that I know off the back of my hand like everybody on this countdown. I put him on this list strictly because he looked fucking badass. The design of him, the Pinhead, like it just looked badass to me, and I just like how he looked. On that basis. Moving on. Number 8, we got Ghostface. Now with Ghostface, I'm crediting excuse me, Roger L. Jackson is the credit I'm giving for this character's role, because I know the actors always reveal, oh, it was Sydney's boyfriend, or it was the boyfriend mom the next year. It's always somebody, a mysterious person who dons the Ghostface gimmick, but the voice never changes. You know what I'm saying? And that's Roger L. Jackson. So I look at him as the voice of Ghostface, basically. So the characters are great and they do their job during the movie, but when you hear him, hey Sydney, I'm gonna fucking snitch your throat. Like when you hear him talking, that's the intimidating factor. Then the killer pops out and falls around and be goofy trying to kill Sydney. But the voice is always fucking on point to me. That's why I'm crediting who I credit. Robert L. Jackson as Ghostface. Moving on. Kane Hodder. 9 times out of 10, you know who Kane Hodder is. That's Jason. Now, I know he played Jason in probably 4 or 5 out of the 9 or 10 movies they got. But Kane Hodder, the way he breathed, the way he exerts the role, the way he is stunt coordinator for movies and know what he doing, that's my Jason. He is a beast of a man. He do all his own stunts. Obviously, he had the burns back in the day, like a real stunt went wrong. He never shied away from it. He got back right on the saddle and did another burn scene, the longest in movie history up at that time, which was about 15 seconds. That'd be like a motherfucker almost drowning and then doing a scene in the movie where he gotta be playing like he drowning. Like, the bravery of this man is not to be bitched over. It's to be commended. Kane Hodder, Jason. Like I said, most of my favorite movies are low ranking to the fan base of Jason or the box office. They ain't box office friendly. But he in my most favorite movies of Jason. I fucking love Kane Hodder. Moving on. This a double dip and it deserve it. We got Pennywise, the Dancing Clown. Like I said in my Terrifier, Art the Clown, I still stand by that. I think Art the Clown is a scarier clown than Pennywise, Asgard, or Curry. But it'll never be a debate, and it'll never be competition movie-wise and budget-wise and production-wise and story-wise. Like Pennywise Origins, the story of the Losers Club and them 6 kids he torturing for 50 years of their life, like that's legendary. And that's why I gotta give Bill Skarsgård and Tim Curry. Personally, I could be biased because I'm from the Tim Curry's Pennywise era. Even though I know Bill Skarsgård way scarier with the teeth, the CG, the work you can do, the transformation. But Curry I grew up on and I got affinity for him. And that's my favorite Pennywise. You know what I'm saying? But they both, I don't compare them. That Pennywise is for 90s, young kids like me. This Asgard is for my children. Generational talent. Both of them get their flowers. Pennywise. Moving on. Smoke break. Fuck it. Cart's starting to hit funny. It must be low. Y'all know how I always call it Tony T. Tony Todd. The man, the myth, the legend. Cabrini Green. New Orleans slave quarters. California Day of the Dead. It don't matter. The man is Candyman. And the fourth, he back in his origins in from Cabrini in Chicago. But y'all know, I did an in-depth analysis on him. I don't know if it was the first one I did or second, but I said during that one, Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers ain't getting this. This for the holy of thou. Like his backstory, his character, his storyline is prestigious to me. And he the only one on this list with my skin tone. Let me make sure of that. Facts. He the only one on this list with my skin tone. He's an African American, aka a nigga. And what the Tony Todd did with this role is iconic. I will never deny him. His cameo in the new Candyman at the very end, I don't care if it was 30 seconds. I pop hard for that. I mean, I was kind of tight the whole movie. Like, I ain't hearing his voice. I ain't seeing him. But when they show him at the end, I'm like, fucking let's go. You know what I'm saying? Tony Todd is my guy. Candyman. Moving on. Number 4. This is my old school quote. Now I'm getting nitty gritty. You know what that means when we in the nitty gritty. Number 4. Chucky from the Child's Play franchise. This is the man. The voice. Like I said with Ghostface, the voice of the character with Brad Dourif is really different. Because this is an animatronic doll. So he is the embodiment of Chucky, where Roger L. Jackson is the voice on a recorder talking to the characters throughout the movie, but it's actual different people playing the Ghostface. Brad Dourif is not that case with Chucky. He's Chucky through and through. When he wake up in the first movie for Child's Play 1 and you hear the aggression in his voice, I'ma fucking kill you, bitch, you fucking slut, I'ma teach you not to fuck with me. That became a meme. It's legendary. Like, he got like Freddy where he was maniacal, then he became jokey, but I don't care. When you hear his voice, it like the dial fit him. Like, it's an embodiment. Like, he is Chucky. Brad Dourif coming in the number 4 spot. Now, number 3. I'm giving this credit, I don't care, to the shape as Frank Castle. Now I know Michael Myers is similar to Jason, where it's been several Dawn, like Deborah Cox donned the mask as the shape in the first movie. But it's been several different characters play the shape. From 1 to 2. Those are different characters. And they're my favorite 2 looks for the Michael Myers. But Frank Castle getting this distinct honor as Michael Myers, a.k.a. The Shape. The Night He Came Home. Because that is the original OG movie in which Frank Castle donned the mask. That's my Michael Myers personally. You might like Michael Myers from 4 or 6 or Busta Rhymes, Resurrection. I don't know which one you may like the best. But Frank Castle is my Michael Myers. Nothing else to discuss. It's my fucking list. Moving along. Number 2. Don't fucking fall asleep. Because if he in your dreams, your ass is good as dead. Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger. Y'all all know this is Robert Englund. He is basically the box office godfather of horror cinema. I don't care what you thinking about him being Freddy vs. Michael, Freddy vs. Jason, Freddy vs. Leatherface. You know what I'm saying? All of that don't matter. Fred Krueger is the guy. Legendary. Iconic. The Most High. When you think of horror icons, you think of Freddy Krueger first. It's like when you say people names, saying a name first, like Jordan and Pippin. It comes off the tongue naturally. But when you say Pippin and Jordan, excuse me, it don't got that same flavor, Pippin and Jordan, compared to all your life you've been saying Jordan and Pippin, Shaq and Kobe. It don't sound right when you say Kobe and Shaq. It's Shaq and Kobe. Duncan Parker Ginobili. You get my drift. Them all basketball references, by the way. But Freddy Krueger, Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, however you want to say it, it's never another name first. But in my world, my list, it is a number one. And that's dun-dun-dun, 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 dun. Coming in the number one spot, my man. Now, I already admitted, this ain't the number one franchise of all time. Box office and all that, it don't stand up to even to Freddy Krueger. But Jigsaw is my most number one horror icon of all time. You could take Billy the Puppet. You could take when he put the pink pig mask on. You could take just flat out John Kramer with the black robe and the red trim. John Kramer is the number one horror icon ever to me. And I done said enough about him to where I don't even got to carry this on. But I do got a public service announcement. Because as you see my list, 10 through 1, my honorable mentions, you seen that. It's one person you might be thinking, where the fuck was he? And that's, excuse me, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, my number one Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy is Gunnar Hansen. I said that already. I love the franchise. It came in number 2 on my list. But I also like Andre Braniski in the remake from the Michael Bay verse. But to be honest, I just feel like I don't like Norman Bates, Pinhead, or Ghostface more than Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But I think in my heart, they are more iconic. Excuse me. Norman Bates with Psycho. That's more popular. People know about that and care about that more than Leatherface. It's just not my opinion. I care about Leatherface more. But that bumps, so I can't take Norman out and put him in at 10 just because I like him. Pinhead. I told y'all I don't even like the franchise of Hellraiser. But the way he look is fucking badass. That's iconic. That's more known than even Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And that's debatable. Ghostface, that's Wes Craven. The Ghostface mask. That mask sells just as much as Freddy mask. Michael Myers is the most iconic mask that people buy, and maybe Jason with the hockey mask, but this Ghostface is just Ghostface. So those were the only people who I could potentially bump out for him. Everybody above him, Pennywise, Candyman, Chucky, he wasn't on touching them. Even though I like the franchise just as much as those, he ain't iconic as them. My bias to him doesn't matter for how I view a countdown. He didn't crack it. Now, if it's my most favorite franchises, he gonna come in favorably on that mark. Or movies I like. But for iconic, this is it right here. And I'm out. ZZ the King. Like and subscribe.